Okay, everybody, we are joined by the winner of the Brant 200, supporting Florida FFA, Greg Van Alst. And Greg, a lot of people might not know your story. You won the CRA Late Model Championship up in the Midwest, which earned you the right to come to participate in the ARCA Road to Daytona. And it was that test here at Daytona that kind of motivated you to buy your ARCA car because you wanted to come and race here, and now 3 years later, you're sitting in victory lane. Well, how are you feeling? What are your emotions right now?
Is this real? I mean, yeah, I mean, 100%. We won the late model championship and came to the test, and the place just has a magical feel, as you all know, and I needed to do anything and everything I could to get back here and race, and when we started to do that, it was more of just to come race. Of course, you always dream of being here and winning, but oh man, it feels good.
What were your emotions coming off of turn 4 when you cleared the 44 car and you started thinking it might happen?
I had to watch the replay because I didn't know what happened. Like, I was so focused that it just happened, and I mean, I knew if I pushed the 44 and just locked with him, I was either going to wreck him or just keep the train going, and I got locked onto him good, and I knew if I could get the 2 clear down the backstretch and we could get separated. The 18 had kind of told us early in the race that we were best friends, and I knew if I sucked back and got the run, going down the backstretch, that I kind of hoped he would go with me because that was going to be his best option. And it just played out perfect. I got right to the right rear quarter panel, and Connor gave me a shot coming off of 4, and that was it.
I know we'll have some questions. We'll open it up. We'll start here with Jacob Seelman. And we'll go to Matt here up front.
Jacob Seelman, 77 Sports Media, kickingthetires.net. Greg, first, congratulations. You started this ARCA thing, as Charlie kind of alluded to, right after the turn of the millennium. I think 2001 it was. As a kid, you know, the first time you broke into this series, this was the dream then. I mean, did that ever fade at any point, even when you had to step away from the series to work on the business because you didn't have the funds? Did this dream, this moment, ever fade at all for you?
No, absolutely not, man. I know everybody says they dream of racing, but I mean, it's what I live for. And yeah, we was here in 2001, and I just knew that I wanted to be on the big tracks. I love short track racing, but man, the big tracks just feel like the big leagues. And you know, everything. Sorry, my crew and stuff's walking in. It's getting me emotional. Man, it just, everything I've done is to race. I mean, I love my wife. I love my family. And they have supported me. My wife and I have been together since high school. She's been to, I don't know how many races. This is the first time she's been in the garage in 17 years, or the pits. Since we've been married, she has not been able to come to the garage and the pits with us because of our kids. And I told her back in December she had to come because I was winning Daytona. And here we are.
You were that confident even then? Just had a feeling?
I had a feeling. I don't get nervous. And you can ask her. I was so nervous I didn't hardly eat this morning, and y'all can look at me and tell that I don't miss meals.
Last one from me. This race in particular, the last 7-8 years seems to have become either about the kids or about the super teams. Charlie will correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure, but I think this is the first time since Bobby won here in 2012 that a driver owner has not just come into this race, but won this race. Is it that much more special that it's a bunch of volunteer guys, that it's your team, that you guys just went out and kind of showed everybody else up a little bit?
Man, I hadn't even had time to think about that, but holy cow, yeah. I mean, I tried to get manufacturer support this winter, and you know, I thought I was going to get it, and then I seen it go to another team, and And it's just so disheartening because, you know, guys like me, I mean, you're just told just work hard, put your head down, just keep digging, and things will happen. And you know, we talked to multiple sponsors over the winter that you know we thought were going to come on board full time, and it's just the whole winter was just I don't want to say one disappointment after another, but I knew my speedway car was good, and I've spent countless hours in the shop. I've got a couple buddies that come over every time that they can, and we've got countless hours on this. Like, my Phoenix car is not even close to ready, and that's we got a lot of work to do to get there.
We'll send it up here to Matt Weaver up front. She's coming. Yep.
Matt Weaver, Motorsports Tribune. You've been pretty adamant throughout the years that when you wouldn't build Top Choice, that it was always with the mindset that I still want to race. Like, I got to make a living, and I've got to, you know, build a profession, but I want to have a good race car because of it too. Can you kind of give me an idea into the insight of, like, how do I build this business and also be able to race too?
Honestly, I don't know how I'm able to pull it off. I have things that happen, and I don't know why. I'll have weeks where I don't know where the next job's coming from, and then something happens, and we get a big job, and it's like, you know, I mean, I don't even know. I mean, I know, but I'm not going into detail. But I know there's some people watching over us right now, and pretty sure they were riding with us on that last lap.
And I believe you guys were fastest at the test. Was that right? Or okay. You guys have always been fast here, though. So I'm curious, what have you guys been able to do to bridge that gap to not just show up at Daytona and be competitive, but to be a top contender? Because I feel like going into this year, and your gut feeling, you guys knew that you would be a top team here now.
Yeah, I owe a lot to Jim Long, and I owe a lot to Chad Bryant. I bought this car off Chad Bryant, and you know, neither one of those guys had to help a guy like me, but you know, both of them told me that they believed in my story, they believed in me, and you know, like I've said, guys like me aren't supposed to do this. You know, it's the unfortunate side is racing's getting to be where it's all about the young guys, and racing's losing guys like me because it's just so hard to do this. And you know, Chad and Jim, and I mean, they kept telling me little things like, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do this. Sometimes it's almost overwhelming, but I just, you know, went out in the shop, kept my head down, and kept doing the little things to this car. And I mean, you know, we got done with the test, and there was a few things that I guess as an owner driver and a fabricator, drivers don't notice certain things because they don't have to. And when I'm in the test, I'm watching the cars, and I'm watching the way the air moves on the cars, and I mean, I went back to the shop and made our car better because I could see what the air was doing to the other cars, and it's like, well, mine has to be doing that because I know what I don't have there. So, you know, I went back and methodically put racing in certain spots and did certain things to make the car better.
And then one more for me. You said your Phoenix car is not even close to being where it needs to be. You leave here not only the winner, but also the points leader. Do you think that having this moment could help you go back to those, you know, the manufacturers or potential partners and say, hey, we got a chance to do something really special this year. Get on board now while the train is just leaving, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would be awesome. You know, if we could.
We'll send it over to frontstretch.com.
Dale McFadden with frontstretch.com. Greg, like, what do you do outside of racing? You said you get big jobs. What do you do?
So I started a fence company 16, 17 years ago, somewhere in there. And for those that don't know, basically the story is I was trying to make my way through the ranks. I've had sponsors that came through that jumped ship off of us because I was the one that introduced them to motorsports marketing, and they moved over to, the big leagues. I've had sponsors. I could probably name a half a dozen sponsors that are in the big garage right now that probably wouldn't be there had I not introduced them. And on a very small level, like I'm not sitting here saying that I'm the guy, but I kept plugging and kept plugging and kept plugging. A deal would fall through. So my wife and I, we moved to Florida. I took a job in racing, and it just didn't work out. We moved back to Indiana, and I met a guy and was running a dirt sprint car. And it was a terrible car, but it was just something to get in and drive. And we had $1,250 in our checking account, and I got paid every 2 weeks, and I just got paid. And I'm sitting on the back of the trailer, and I'm sitting there watching all these trucks come in, and every one of them's got a construction company on it. And I'm like, man, I need to do something to make more money so I can do this. Well, I flipped 7 times that night, and I mean, it messed my head up. I had a concussion, I'm sure. I had 2 black eyes, and Saturday morning, I bought another chassis, and I gave $1,200 for it. I had $50 in our checking account that I had to make the next 2 weeks on, and we had a brand new baby girl. Like, that's stupid, but that's what guys like me do. And so anyway, I'm out in the garage, and I'm struggling because I've got what I would say probably was a concussion, and I'm trying to put it together, and I get mad, and I threw a tantrum, kicked it off the stands, and said I'm done. Wife asked me, she said, what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know, I'll start a fence company or something, but I'm not doing this anymore until I can do it right. And I sold almost all of my racing stuff and didn't know if I would ever race again. And I mean, I literally started my fence company with a pair of post hole diggers and a hammer. And that is 100% how it started. I got my first job, made decent money. I just kept reinvesting, and now, I mean, it's the fence company is 75% of our budget. So.
Wow. Second question. When your car was pushed out of victory lane, like there was a large group of fans and I think crew members who started cheering and whistling for the car. So what does it mean for you, like just in this short period of time since the race was over, that it's kind of resonating with people?
I mean, it's crazy. I kind of want to get to the garage because I mean, those are my people. You know what I mean? Like I'm so looking forward to getting in there and the other teams. And I mean, I love ARCA because everybody in there understands our story, and I try to drive with a lot of respect and try to get other drivers to understand that if I drive them clean, maybe they'll drive me clean, like an old school mentality. And, I feel like a lot of the drivers do. And I think that resonates with the team owners and the crew chiefs and the other crew guys. I mean, I drive the hauler most of the time. I mean, I'm in here in the garage with the other hauler drivers when I get to the track. And, I think that goes a long way with the peers in the garage.
We'll send it over to Dino Oberto over here. And here's an interesting nugget. He mentioned his crew chief, Jim Long. Jim is a former crew chief at Hendrick Motorsports and has won races such as the Brickyard 400. Jim actually grew up 2 miles from the ARCA office in the motorsports metropolis of Lambertville, Michigan. So nice way to tie it all back. Dino, go ahead.
Dino Oberto, Area Auto Racing News. First of all, congratulations. Great race today. You stepped away from it. You did back when you said in 01 or so, and you got back into it. You got back into it this year. The ARCA series, was that always where you wanted to get back into, do it with ARCA, or was there other series that you possibly thought of taking that route?
Are you asking if someone's going to get me a cup ride? I mean, I'll race tomorrow. No, I mean, I'm a realist, so like I understand what it takes to make it in racing now, and ARCA is a perfect fit for guys like me. And if there's another opportunity, whether it's truck, Xfinity, whatever, I mean, would I take it? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the ultimate dream. But, you know, I feel like ARCA is home for guys like me and my crew.
Thank you.
All right, I think that'll do it. Greg, Daytona winner. Congratulations.
Thank you. Holy cow.
Thanks, everybody.
Congrats, Greg. Thank you. Have we cleared tech yet?
Not yet.
Well, maybe not. We'll hold off on that.
We don't.